Hello, my name is Connie. I am the owner and crochet artist of Precious Plushies. Precious, who is my dog, and I'll let you meet her in a little while. She's sleeping right now. And then I was going to call it Connie's Creations or something like that, and I got her just about a year ago and said, no, that's what I got to name it after. So I guess I'm going to be making videos on crochet since I love crochet. I love everything about it, but basically more directed towards plushies. A little bit about me. I started my crochet journey, I guess you could call it, when I was around 19 years old. And I told a friend of mine I wanted to learn how to crochet. And I don't know why. I guess I saw some Afghans and thought it'd be really neat to be able to make that. And I didn't even know if I could do it or not, but I wanted to try. And she said, well, my aunt crochets, so she would be able to teach you. So that's what happened. Was we went over to her aunt's house. She taught me how to chain. She told me to do it over and over and over and over again, which is how you learn. You know, you get used to how you hold it, your tension and all that. Then the first thing she told me to start on, and she wrote down the directions and everything and showed me how to make granny squares. So to this day, I'm sorry to all of those of you who love granny squares. I don't like them. I don't like to do them. I don't want to do them. I made hundreds of them and never sewed them together because I don't like them. So just FYI, if you like them, awesome. I don't like them, so I don't want to do them. So that basically is how I got started though. And it was years later that I actually started learning how to make Afghans. Like I got a whole bunch of Afghan books and just basically went through them and read them and figured out how to read patterns and things like that. And I had learned some stitches from her, and I just picked it up. And they also show you in some of the books how to do it. At that time, knew nothing about YouTube. I don't even know if YouTube was around then or not. I didn't even have any of that. So I'm a Gen X, and I had to learn about the computer system just like everybody else. I wasn't born with it and grow up on it. So anyhow, I made Afghans and coasters and things like that. My first big project was I made an Afghan for my niece for her, well, it was my sister-in-law's baby shower, and I made my little niece to be, who is supposed to be coming, a little pink blanket. I look back on that. She loves that blanket. My sister-in-law does, because it's handmade and, you know, her sister-in-law made it. But I'm going to tell you what, that thing, I don't even want to see that thing. I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't know any tips or tricks. I didn't know really that when you end, how you need to end and how you need to turn, or if you need to chain one or not, so on and so forth. So my blanket literally did this on the sides, and it was long, and yeah, it wasn't very good. So I had a lot to learn, but I'd done something, and I just did it in my free time. It was a hobby, something I did every once in a while. In fact, there'd be years where I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't pick it up or anything. And I had made some blankets in the last few years that I learned the corner to corner, which is my favorite. I love it. That's my favorite go-to, because the Afghan is so fast. I mean, it takes a while to get the sides to where you want them to be, how long and how wide you want it to be. And then after that, when you start decreasing, it goes fast when you're decreasing because you're doing less stitches. So I really like that corner to corner. So a friend at work, Monique, her son had gotten on the Auburn football team. And so she asked me to make a blanket so that when she went to the game, she'd have an Auburn type blanket or a personalized blanket. And with the number 55, that was his number. And I made it for her, and it took me forever. And I asked her to please be patient. I was going to try to put the 55 within the Afghan. No. So I thought, well, I'll make the 55 and I'll sew it to the Afghan. And those fives about killed me. I could do just about any other number, but 55 was like hard, because what they show you on YouTube, because that's where I go now. YouTube's my place to go to find out how to do anything. And they were showing how to do letters, or numbers, but they were like tiny. And I have a blanket where the 5 alone, she wanted it to be big. And, you know, you don't want a tiny little thing. So I was doing that, and it took me a long, long time. I'm talking weeks. And bless her heart, she waited. And she liked it when I got it for her. She realized how thick it was and how warm it was. So Monique pushed me outside of my comforts. All I was making was Afghans. And she pushed me out of my comfort zone and said, you need to do more. And I'm like, okay. Didn't really think much of it. Well, that year, we actually had, which is this year, 2025, back in February or March, we had a contest. I have a full-time job, so this is still my craft on the side, or my business on the side. So at work, they had a contest where it was an art contest. People could bring in sculptures, or they could bring in, crochet, I guess, but pictures that they drew with charcoal, or the sculptures that they made, whatever it was. And there was just about maybe 8 to 10, I think, people that did that. So I got talked into bringing in 2 of my Afghans. One is a pride, or a rainbow. It's a rainbow, but I do use it for pride festivals. But it's a rainbow blanket, and then I also have one that's camo, and I call it my hunter's blanket because it's camouflage. So those 2, I did actually win one of the spots, and I think it said I had the most votes, which I still can't believe, because there's some really nice sketches and drawings up there. But anyhow, so I got a free parking spot for the month, or a nice parking spot. We have a huge parking lot where I work, and I mean huge. And it feels like if you park at the end of any of these rows, it's like out in the back 40. So having a front parking spot's a nice thing to have. So it's a nice little gift. And I was awarded that for a month. And the person who actually put it all together and did everything for it asked me, you know how to crochet, why aren't you making plushies, or making these, making animals? And I was like, what are you talking about? I have no idea what you even mean. And she kind of told me what they were, and she said one of her friends made turtles, and I was like, okay, whatever. And then I went to YouTube, and I actually looked up plushies, or stuffed animals that you crochet, or I don't remember how I looked it up, and I just saw all these wonderful plushed animals that were crocheted. And I remembered I had seen that quite some time ago, where I saw a girl on a YouTube video once, when I was learning how to do a crochet Afghan, and she was talking about making corners and turns and I don't know what all, and I thought, what is she talking about? So she was making all these different animals. So when I saw it this year earlier, I was like, that is so neat, that is so cool, but I can't do something like that. I know how to make blankets, but I don't know how to make animals. And that's what we tend to all do, isn't it? We all talk ourselves out of it. Negative self-talk. I don't like negative self-talk, and I've been working on my negative self-talk all year long. And so I had to break out of that. And that was one thing that Monique said, come on, you're breaking out of that norm and that rut. So that's what I did. So thank you very much, Monique. I've told you before, I'll tell you again, thank you very much. I'm here on YouTube today because Monique was the one that pushed me to break out of my rut. And then Shanna, she kind of nagged me until I did it. But I'm just joking, girls. So when I submitted those 2, I thought, well, I won that, didn't think I could, so I'll try something else. So I did. I watched a lot of videos, and I realized it was single crochet, and you go in rounds for a lot. Not everything. I mean, there's a lot more to it than just that, but in my mindset, I can do that. That's not hard. So I started making plushies, and now I've made, I don't even know how many, I've made hundreds. But I started this in March. My first event or market was going to be in June, because I was going to sell my Afghans, where, thank God, I'm so glad I make plushies and that's not all I went through with, because I probably wouldn't have made a cent. People just aren't into Afghans like they were, at least not at this market. So I went, my good friend Shanna helped me, bless her heart. I wouldn't have been able to make any of it if she wouldn't have been there to help me set up and everything. But we did. It was in June. It was at Pride Days, or Pride Fest. And I did okay. I had some troubles with setup, and they had to move me because I'd asked for electricity and they didn't give it to me. And it was a very hot, humid day. It was horrible. It was horrible. I got home and I hadn't drank enough water. I hadn't even thought about it. I mean, I drank a lot, but not necessarily water. and my muscles spasmed. It was horrible. So I've learned. So drink a lot of water when it's really that hot in Alabama. So now I did pretty good. I have a lot of stock. So I thought, what am I going to do? Well, the only other event that I knew of or had heard of was Oxford Fest. My neighbors actually had told me, a lot of people go, and somebody in our cafe at work had said, oh, I set up there every year. She said, they do something with the kids. And she said, and you could come and set up. And I don't think there's any other crocheters there. Or if they are, I've never seen them. So I was like, okay. She's the one lady, by the way, the only lady who has bought, well, her and the lady that ran the event, those are the only two people who have bought chickens from me. So everybody was selling chickens, all kinds of chickens. So I made a whole bunch of chickens, still have them. I still have them. So they aren't very popular where I'm at. So I went, my second market was in Oxford, and it was called Oxford Fest, just like Oktoberfest for October 4th, but it's Oxford Fest. And it blew my mind. They had more people there than they ever have. And I think it was like 35,000 people that went through. And it's a one day. I haven't been lucky enough to get a 2 or 3 day event. I haven't been lucky enough to find a school that has markets, that I see all these other people do and I would love to do, but I haven't seen them yet or had them yet. I'm trying to keep my glasses from reflecting that light. So I'm sorry. I'm trying to make it so you can see me. So that was an awesome market. And the reason it blew my mind was because it was my best market. I've watched enough videos to know what a good day for markets is and what a bad day is. And I made over $1,000 that day. And I was blown away. And it took about 90% of my plushies. So I was about sold out. So that was an extremely. So I had not a very good one and a really extreme. So I'm assuming it's going to be somewhere in between those two from here on out. But I've got to find more markets. I wish I had one in April because I love making bunnies and I love making, the eggs and all the good things for spring, flowers and stuff. But I don't know of any around here. So I'm still looking for some places. Now, I'm not the market person that goes to markets every weekend or every other weekend, or, got to make at least 2 months. I don't. I am not into all these no-sews. Don't get me wrong. I do no-sews, but that's not like majority of what I focus on. I focus on sewing. It's because it's a craft. It's an art. I'm into all arts and crafts, and it's a skill. And some things look better when they look like the actual animals than something that is no-sew and doesn't really, with bobbles and all this other stuff. So I make some of that stuff, and that's what sells a lot. But I also make more realistic animals, and those sell as well. And those sell as well, very well. So that is how my journey got started. My videos that I would like to have on my channel will be about my markets, how I do at markets. I will have weekly or monthly, I'm not sure which, probably weekly though, updates. I hope to have weekly updates of what I made that week. It won't be a lot every week because I have to work, at my job. So I only have evenings and weekends to do this. And I have, life to lead too. So it's kind of hard for me to make a lot, but that's what I focus on nights and evenings. So, I'll tell you a little bit more. Also, I've been lucky. I've been blessed that my hairdresser has decided that she's expanded on her own. She has opened up her own beauty shop and bought more of the store to have her shop in. So she's a standout, awesome lady. And she purchased a special plushie dinosaur from me, which I'll show. And then, sorry about that. Someone came to the door and my Precious decided to bark and make a scene. So she's woke up now. But as hopefully I'll be talking about the same thing. Basically what I was saying was I want my videos to be on, like I said, makes that I make. And I'll do some yarn hauls. I don't know if I'll take you with me. I don't go as much as, you know, a lot of people do. I'm a homebody. I like to be at home in my home. So I don't get out very much, but when I do, I'll take you with, so you can see how small my Michaels is. I got into the game basically when Joann's was closing, so I got to shop there once, and it was when it was already picked over and ready to shut down. So I didn't get but a couple of not so pretty yarn that I haven't even used yet because it's not so pretty. But you know, I want to be able to say I shopped at Joann's at least once. But most of my stuff comes, I order a lot online. Was doing Amazon for quite some time, and now I do mostly Premier and Michaels. So, and Walmart. Walmart's been getting better, getting a lot better. So basically that's what my videos would be about. If you would like to tell me, you know, something that you want to see, more of what you would like to see, then please put that in the comments, or please put that in so that I'll know and I can design my videos better to suit more people. But that's what it is right now. I have some people who want to learn how to crochet, which I'll make some videos for them. They want to learn how to read patterns, which I'll put in for them as well. Basically, it's for anybody out there that is starting out and has no clue where to start, like I was. I can hopefully help you out. And even for those that have been around for a while, I might be able to show you something that you haven't seen yet, because I watch a lot of creators, which I'll talk about in another video, and it's because of them that I know so much, or I figure out so much. So that's what I'm hopefully going to be have my videos about. Now, crocheting is hard to learn, but it's easy to master. So that's why I've had, since I was 19 and I'm 50 something now, I've had a lot of time to learn all the different crochet stitches and how to do it. So once I switched from Afghans to plushies, it wasn't as hard as somebody who's just starting out, doesn't know what they're doing. So that's something to think about too. I decided that I would end this video with 2 truths and a lie. Since I've been telling you about myself, this is just another way to get to know me maybe a little bit better. And I'll tell you 3 statements, 2 which are true, 1's a lie, and it'll be up to you to decide which one's a lie. And if you'll put that down in the comments, then the next time I have a video, we'll look and see who was right and who wasn't. So you'll have to watch the next video to see that. And I'll probably have either some makes or some yarn to show you in that one. So my 3 statements are: I was kidnapped as a child. I went on a date with a serial killer. We found a dead body on our neighbor's property. So those are the 3 statements. You can tell me which 2 are truths and which one's a lie. If you know me, don't comment because you already know the answer. And that's not fair. But yeah, if you don't know me, then please do that. So I'm going to sign off with something that I really believe in, and I've been taking care of or working on this year. And that is that manifestation is a real thing, and it really does work. I've seen it work with me. Like I said, I wouldn't be here today if I hadn't manifested a lot of what I've been doing. So that's one thing. But normally words are very powerful. Oh my God, she devastated me. Oh my God, you know, my world fell apart. Your world did not fall apart. You went through something horrible, and I don't wish it on anyone, but you didn't. Your world did not fall apart. I simply can't go on. Yeah, you can. You have to. Because unless you die, you have to live and you have to pay taxes. So yeah, that's what I mean by powerful. We just over-exaggerate everything, even the good. But it seems like the self-talk that everyone does, except for narcissists, is all of our self-talk is negative. I can't do that. Oh, I'll never be as good as them. I don't know how to do that. I can never learn that. And I've learned in the last few years, when I was diagnosed with ADHD, I was 40 something. And in the past 10 years or so, I just, in the last year or so, I really found out what it meant to have ADHD. And I found out I'm not as weirdo as I thought I was. My brain works differently than other people. So I talk too much. I talk too loud. I say inappropriate things. But it's all because of that. So I'm trying to work on that so I don't do all those things. However, the negative self-talk is one of my biggest things. So I want everyone out there to work on your self-talk. Make it positive, because you can do it. If I can do it, you can do it. You are worth it. And just remember, words are powerful. So try to be nice to yourself and use kind, positive words. And before I log off, I'll let you see the namesake to my business. This is this is Precious. She does not like the video camera. She does not like me taking pictures of her. So when I do get them, it's a rarity. So this is Precious, and I am Connie from Precious Plushies. Thanks for joining me today. Please come back, answer those questions. Let me know what you want to see, and have a great day. Bye.